Have you ever felt like you're trapped in a relationship, like you're stuck in quicksand with no way out? That feeling is often a telltale sign of a toxic relationship. But what exactly is a toxic relationship? It's a relationship where the negative aspects far outweigh the positive, where the emotional turmoil is a constant companion, and the feelings of joy and happiness are fleeting at best. In a toxic relationship, you often feel trapped. It's like being in a maze with no exit in sight, and every turn leads to a dead end. This feeling of entrapment can leave you helpless, as if you're bound by invisible chains that are impossible to break. It's a constant struggle, a never-ending battle with yourself, questioning whether you're overreacting or whether your feelings are valid. Toxic relationships are not just emotionally draining, they're a constant source of stress. They keep you on your toes, always guessing, always doubting. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, afraid that the next word you utter, the next action you take, might set off a chain reaction of anger, resentment, or disappointment. But the impact of a toxic relationship goes beyond the emotional. It seeps into your physical health, manifesting as sleepless nights, loss of appetite, or even chronic fatigue. Your body becomes a mirror reflecting the turmoil within. And yet, despite all this, it's so easy to ignore the signs, to brush them off as normal relationship issues. But let's be clear, constant stress, feelings of entrapment and helplessness, and a negative impact on your health are not normal. They are signals, loud and clear, that something is not right. Toxic relationships are a trap, a quagmire that sucks you in deeper the more you struggle. But recognizing this trap is the first step towards freedom. It's the first step towards reclaiming your peace, your sanity, and your health. If you're nodding your head, recognizing these patterns, then it's time to take a closer look at your relationship. In order to escape, you first need to recognize that you're in a toxic relationship. But how can you tell? Well, toxic relationships often have a few common signs: disrespect, manipulation, constant criticism, and lack of support. Let's dive in a bit deeper, shall we? Disrespect can come in many forms. It could be as blatant as name-calling or as subtle as disregarding your opinions and decisions. If your partner consistently makes you feel less than, that's a sign of disrespect. Manipulation is another red flag. It's a cunning and harmful tactic that's used to control and dominate. If you find yourself doing things you don't want to do, constantly questioning your decisions, or feeling guilty for no reason, you might be being manipulated. Then there's constant criticism. A healthy relationship involves constructive criticism, yes, but it should never be constant or cruel. If you're always feeling inadequate or like you can't do anything right, that's a clear indication of a toxic environment. And finally, lack of support. In a strong relationship, your partner should be your biggest cheerleader. If they're instead shooting down your dreams, belittling your achievements, or making you feel small, that's a serious concern. But here's the thing, these signs are often not as clear-cut as we'd like them to be. They can be subtle, they can creep in slowly, almost imperceptibly, and that's why your feelings and your intuition are so important. If you feel uneasy, anxious, or consistently unhappy in your relationship, listen to those feelings. They're your body's way of telling you that something isn't right. Your intuition is a powerful tool, and it's there to protect you. It's like your internal alarm system, so pay attention to it. Toxic relationships can be damaging, both emotionally and physically. It's crucial to recognize these red flags and understand what they signify. If these red flags are flying high in your relationship, it's time to consider the next steps. Recognizing the problem is the first step, but what comes next can feel like a steep mountain to climb. The road to breaking free from a toxic relationship isn't a straight path. It's a journey that involves twists and turns, ups and downs. But remember, every journey begins with a single step, and it's okay to take that step at your own pace. One of the most crucial aspects of this journey is self-care. It's not about being selfish or uncaring about others. It's about understanding that you can't pour from an empty cup. Prioritize your mental and physical health. Engage in activities you love. Keep a journal, meditate, exercise, or simply take time to breathe. It's essential to nurture your mind and body, allowing them to heal from the stresses of toxicity. Next, don't underestimate the power of your support system. Friends and family can be your lifeline during this time. They can provide a listening ear, a comforting shoulder, and an encouraging voice when you need it the most. Reach out to them, let them in, and allow them to help you navigate through this difficult period. In some cases, professional help may be necessary. Therapists and counselors are trained to handle these situations and can provide you with tools and strategies to cope. They offer a safe space where you can express your feelings without judgment. Remember, seeking help isn't a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to your strength and determination to reclaim your life. Finally, it's essential to remind yourself that you are not defined by this relationship. You are not the toxic environment you've been in. You are a unique individual, deserving of respect, love, and happiness. So, put yourself first, make your well-being a priority, and take that first step towards a healthier future. Remember, taking the first step is often the hardest, but it's also the most important. Embrace the challenge, for it is in overcoming obstacles that we find our true strength. You've got this. Breaking free from a toxic relationship is not an event. It's a process. It's a journey that requires courage, patience, and resilience. Firstly, setting boundaries is crucial. You have the right to determine how you're treated, and you can assert this right by setting clear, firm boundaries. This could mean deciding what kind of behavior you will and won't tolerate, and then communicating those boundaries to the other person. Remember, it's not about controlling them, but about respecting your own needs and well-being. Next, consider cutting contact. To truly break free, it's often necessary to sever ties completely. This might be difficult, especially if you've been in the relationship for a long time. But remember, it's not about punishing the other person, but about giving yourself the space you need to heal and grow. Now let's talk about backlash. When you stand up for yourself and set boundaries, you may face resistance or even retaliation from the toxic individual. They might try to manipulate you into staying, or they might lash out in anger. But don't let this deter you. You are not responsible for their reactions or their feelings. Your responsibility is to yourself and your own happiness. During this time, it's essential to surround yourself with supportive people. Friends, family, therapists, or support groups can provide comfort, advice, and perspective. They can remind you that you're not alone, that you're doing the right thing, and that things will get better. Finally, be patient with yourself. Breaking free from a toxic relationship is not easy, and it's okay to have moments of doubt or weakness. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to take your time. You don't have to have it all figured out right away. The important thing is that every step you take, no matter how small, is a step towards freedom. Though the journey may be tough, remember that there's a life of peace and happiness waiting at the end of it. Once you've broken free, the healing process begins. It's a time to rediscover who you are outside of the relationship. This period is often a mix of relief and confusion, a cocktail of emotions that might leave you unsteady. It's crucial to anchor yourself in self-reflection during this time. Ask yourself, what did you learn from the experience? How has it shaped you? It's not about dwelling on the past, but understanding it to avoid similar pitfalls in the future. Now, let's talk about self-care. It's not just about bubble baths and face masks, although those can certainly help. It's about setting boundaries, prioritizing your needs, and treating yourself with kindness. It's about nourishing your body with wholesome food, moving it in ways that feel good, and giving it the rest it needs. It's about reconnecting with the people who truly care about you, and doing the things that light up your soul. Self-improvement is another key element of this stage. It's about taking the lessons you've learned and using them to become a better version of yourself. This doesn't mean changing who you are, but rather growing and evolving. Maybe it's about developing healthier communication skills, or learning to set and maintain boundaries. Maybe it's about becoming more emotionally resilient, or seeking professional help to deal with unresolved issues. The beauty of this period is that it holds immense potential for personal growth. It's a chance to redefine your identity, to become a stronger, wiser version of yourself. It's a stepping stone towards finding healthier relationships in the future, relationships that respect your boundaries, value your worth, and bring out the best in you. So here's to healing, to moving forward, to embracing the lessons and the growth. Here's to building a life that reflects your worth, a life that brings you joy, peace, and fulfillment. Remember, it's not just about escaping a toxic relationship, it's about building a healthier, happier life for yourself.